Hi, St. Catherine's 8th grade class. My name is Rachael Stockas, and I'm a parishioner at St. Catherine's. And I'm a mom of 2 students that attend the school. I'm a wife, and I'm a working mom. And I'm what you might call a non-traditional Catholic. I actually am from a very small town in Virginia called Rural Retreat. And although I grew up in a religious household, I grew up actually around 2 faiths. My dad was Lutheran, and my mom was Church of God, which was more like an offshoot from the Baptist religion. So my faith journey has not been a typical one. And as you all go through this journey now, I hope that sharing my experiences will help provide some guidance as you go through the next steps. Now, I have wonderful parents, and at an early age, although they had different perspectives on faith, I was always at church on Sundays. I always attended Sunday school, and at a very early age, they made religion a very pleasant learning experience for me as a child. However, when I was a child and even into my teenage years, it was a difficult thing for me to understand why we didn't go to church together as one family. Later, and even really now, I realized that I didn't understand fully how each of my parents valued their own religious thoughts and perspectives and needed to be true to the way they chose to worship. These thoughts also often plagued me as I was a young adult, and quite heavily when I met my future husband, Bob Stockas, in law school, who was a devout Catholic. I'd never really known many Catholics throughout my life. Not that I thought anything bad about being Catholic, but the only thing I knew about being Catholic was getting teased by my brother and my dad because I was a Notre Dame football fan. Back in the 90s, well, even today, but it was weird growing up in the South when you have all the Southern and Virginia football teams. Why would I like Notre Dame? But that's a different story. They're just good. Later, though, I started going to church with my husband to the Catholic Church, and I did really like the services and thought it would be somewhere where I could feel like I was welcome to worship. But I didn't really understand the implications of some of the decisions that I had to make about religion when we even got engaged. Because even though we live in the 21st century with a more enlightened view of the world, it's still difficult, and it was difficult for my husband and myself because he was choosing to marry outside his faith at the time. I had to agree, and we had to get married in a Catholic church. I couldn't get married in my home church. And additionally, I had to basically kind of agree that when we had children, that they would be raised in the Catholic faith. So at this point in my life, not to mention I had that going for me, and also I had moved 600 miles away from my family to live in Chicago with my husband. I really had to pray and rely on my faith in God to help me make the right decision. Well, I did choose to marry my husband, the Chicago Catholic, and we did get married in a Catholic church, but my faith journey did not stop there. When we moved to Oak Lawn and we started attending St. Catherine's, not only did I find a new home and a loving community, I also experienced myself something as a calling to my faith, and that's when I decided that I would become Catholic. Bob, my husband, sponsored me, and I enrolled in the rite of Christian initiation of adults here at St. Catherine's. So actually, at an older age, went through the same things and did the same sort of things that you guys are studying right now. My faith became stronger and more meaningful, and when I went through the program. At the time, Sister Anne Marie Klasky was the person running the program, and she was wonderful. When I was confirmed, I had no doubt that God had led me to this point in my life, and with it gave me a renewed faith and strength to help me with the next phases in my life. I actually had something then that I really had always wanted, and that was having my own family share the same faith and live and worship together. Although I refer to myself as a non-traditional Catholic, the values and faith that I hold dear are the same ones that I hope that you explore and reflect in this important stage of your Catholic education. Just like myself and my faith, I hope you discover here things that will help you in your upcoming stages in life. You are not alone because God is with you. Thank you for letting me share my story.